Well, there's breaking news coming in at this hour. Important to understand that there seems to be an incident of a scuffle between a pilot and a passenger. Important information we're tracking at this hour, as an Air India Express pilot seems to have had a scuffle with a passenger. And it's important to understand that we're getting information that the Air India Express pilot in fact even flew punches on the passenger. This all took place at the Delhi Airport's Terminal 1. The passenger says, and I quote, that the pilot thrashed me and left me bloodied. Visuals of both the pilot as well as the passenger on your screens at the moment. Important to understand that amid the assault claims, now Air India Express has grounded the pilot over assault of the passenger. Crucial information we're tracking at this hour, as there seems to be information of assault coming in from the Delhi Airport's Terminal 1, where the passenger at the Delhi Airport's Terminal 1 seems to have been assaulted by the Air India Express pilot, Captain Virendra Sejwal. Important to understand that the passenger is seen in these images. He seems to be badly injured with, of course, blood oozing out of his face. It's important to understand that amid this, Air India Express has issued a statement and has said, and I quote, that we are aware of an incident at the Delhi airport involving one of our employees who was travelling as a passenger on another airline and had an altercation with another passenger. Well, on this, we have my colleague Thrashed joining us on the broadcast. Thrashed, of course, we're learning of an assault that has taken place at the airport between a pilot as well as a passenger. Walk us through the details.
Well, absolutely, yes. As of now, we are learning that the passenger is injured, and that is why, yes, we have also seen that posted on social media, explaining about how the entire incident unfolded. And however, the Air India Express has also issued a statement. Air India Express has mentioned that now the captain who was flying the flight has already been suspended, and he has been grounded as well. Now remains to be seen that what further action will be taken by the officials as well, because the manner in which the video is emerging out, that is also quite shocking, keeping in mind that there was a verbal war of words that broke out. There was a verbal argument
really
that
sorry
broke
to interrupt
out.
you. We actually have aviation expert Mr. Sanjay Razar joining us on the broadcast. Sir, firstly, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. We're getting information of there being an assault between, of course, a passenger as well as an Air India Express pilot. What are your initial thoughts on this?
Shocking. I saw the video yesterday evening sometime, and it was absolutely scary to imagine what could have happened. First of all, I mean, it's unthinkable that a person with such a temperament is a pilot. I'm glad Air India Express has suspended him. I think they should take further action. Secondly, I'm concerned for Mr. Ankit Dewan, who was brutally beaten up, and I hope he's now well. This brings into question, of course, the behavior of the pilot, absolutely, but what about the airport staff? There was, I'm reading his account, there was no medical attention available instantly. It took 1 hour for them to come. The CISF forced him to sign a statement saying he would not press charges. Is this what we've come down to? Somebody assaults somebody and hammers them in public in front of hundreds of people, and there is nobody to take suo moto action. Where is the Delhi police? What is the CISF doing? Are they siding with people who are, inciting violence and doing violence, or are they here to keep the law? I mean, it's shocking that such an incident should happen. I hope the minister takes prompt action, and so should, the Delhi police and the CMO of Delhi. This is absolutely shocking. You cannot force a victim of a crime to sign off his rights. I'm going to the bigger question here. Of course, there will be action taken against the pilot. Of course, the DGCA will step in and see, his mental state and, whether he's fit to be in a cockpit, first of all. But let's look at the bigger picture. Anybody can get hit at an airport or hammered, and CISF will ask you to sign a statement. That's something very irregular.
But absolutely, sir. In fact, you've raised certain pertinent questions. These, of course, raises questions about passenger safety, given the fact that this is the festive season. This is the period where it sees the largest amount of footfall. So, of course, passenger safety is extremely important. Now, what kind of action do you, of course, expect from the authorities, given the fact that, he was, in fact, even right and sign off saying that he will not complain against the pilot?
I hope Delhi Airport files a complaint on their own. They don't need the passenger can come later, file a or Delhi police files a suo moto complaint, FIR, against this person, Virendra Sejwal or whatever his name is. And please, action should be taken also against those officials and officers who asked this passenger to sign away his rights. I'd also like to look at why Delhi Airport has no medical facility only on this side. Why only on the air side? Why not in pre-security screening area? Somebody could have a heart attack tomorrow and die. So there are lots of big questions that this incident brings out. And I'm thankful that Ankit has penned his entire incident in two detailed tweets. I just hope that some serious action is taken, not only disciplinary against the pilot, but remedial action at an airport. You can't have people, being pushed down and pressured and forced not to take action or not to file a complaint or not to file a criminal FIR. Yeah.
So because you are an aviation expert, I also wish to understand from you, it's said that the pilot was traveling like any other passenger with another airline. And of course, he was using the staff line. So you help me understand this at this point, that, because he was traveling as any other passenger, was he supposed to do that? And where exactly does one draw the line of a pilot on duty and one off duty?
Well, as I'm only going by what the reports show, that he was off duty traveling on another airline. He's obviously not, he's wearing a sweater over, so I cannot make out if he was in full uniform. He seems to be being positioned somewhere. He would have had his, BCAS ID card and gone through the queue. He's obviously also got a boarding card, so he should have been in the normal passenger line. But that's a matter of, what the BCAS and CISF will do when they look at that.
Right, so of course you rightly mentioned, but of course what I'm taking away from what you said is of course the fact that there should be suo motu action that should be taken, and the fact that this was allowed to happen on an airport such as the Delhi airport of course raises serious concerns about passenger safety. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing of course your thoughts with us. Well, of course, important information we're tracking at this hour, as of course Air India Express pilot seems to have had a scuffle with a passenger. We're also going to go back to my colleague Thrashed at this point. Thrashed, of course, we're learning of there being a scuffle. Have the authorities taken any action against the pilot? We know that Air India Express has, of course, suspended the pilot. But apart from that, has the police or any other officials taken any significant action against the pilot?
Well, see, as of now, there is no information so as to whether any action has been taken by the DGCA or any other agency as far as this entire incident is concerned, because as of now, we are just hearing the statement coming in from Air India Express, who has grounded the pilot and also, in fact, suspended him as of now from flying. But remains to be seen that what the other bodies will be doing, keeping in mind the kind of security, in fact, the Delhi airport has. And as we were also listening to the aviation expert, who was also, in fact, stating that what actually was the security doing when this entire incident was unfolding, because we all go through a thorough security check, say it be the CISF or the other agencies as well who are present at the Delhi airport. There is a thorough scanning through which there's a process through which we have to go through. And if such an incident took place, what was the staff doing? In fact, perhaps that is why the victim has also asked for the CCTV to be released by the IGI. Not just that, but have also appealed the DGCI to step in and take stern action for the kind of incident that took place at the Delhi airport, because the pictures are, quite shocking and surprising. You see, we can be seen that how badly his face is injured, and he was also having a baby with him. He was also, in fact, described the entire incident so as to how his wife quickly, managed to make this particular video. Otherwise, entire incident could have gone unreported.
Right, absolutely, Thrashed. In fact, going to our colleague Akhil, also joining us on the broadcast. Akhil, this was not one punch or two. This was, of course, a bunch of punches that was, of course, that came flying at, of course, the passenger who was just traveling with his family for a holiday. Imagine, the authorities, maybe were they watching? What exactly were they doing? This, of course, raises serious questions about passenger safety.
Well, that's right. If you see what we have been seeing and witnessing, that in that very unfortunate video incident that has come to light, in which you can see that there was initially a brief altercation, and after that there was a physical assault that took place on that very individual. And after that, what we have also got to learn that in this very case, at that point in time where that incident took place, the CISF staff members were present at that point in time, and this very individual who has basically manhandled the passenger at that point in time has basically kept on continuously saying that, and I quote, "मैं इसको मार के आता हूँ," and he said this to a CISF personnel at that point in time. So if you see right now, the CCTV footage is being looked into this entire matter, that how this entire event, the episode basically panned out. So right now, this is we have not got any official confirmation from the CISF side that what actually led to this entire scuffle. But one thing is very clear, that the unruly behavior of this very pilot has come to light, and right now he has been suspended, and the victim in this case has been constantly demanding the action from the DGCA as well, and from the airport authority as well.
Right, absolutely, and going back to my colleague Thrashed also who was joining us on the broadcast, Thrashed, of course, certain pertinent questions about passenger safety, especially in the holiday season. I also wish to understand, because of course this was an entire fight that was taking place in the middle of the airport. Will there not be any action perhaps that will be taken against the authorities that were just standing as onlookers?
Well, you see, as far as we understand the current situation, the entire incident that unfolded at the Delhi airport, it will the agencies will thoroughly go through it, will go through the CCTV footages, will also in fact perhaps take these statements from the eyewitnesses who were there, and also perhaps with the security personnel as well who were present at the very spot. But remains to be seen that will the committee be formed to investigate this entire incident, or in fact will the DGCA or the airport authorities will take a stern action against the pilot, or in fact the staff who was present over there, or in fact will monitor the situation first and will take an action, or will be forming the committee, or will be issuing notice. That remains to be seen. But again, we'll be keep on asking the questions so as to what about the safety of the passengers, and who assures next time that such kind of incident won't take place. And first and the most important thing, that the accountability needs to be fixed so as to why such kind of incident took place.
Right, absolutely, Thrashed. Akhil, not just, of course, the assault, but also abuses that were heard in front of course, his wife and children at the passenger. And apart from this, the pilot was also pressurizing the passenger to, in fact, sign a letter saying that he would not pursue further action because the pilot would then miss on his holidays and, of course, rupees that he spent on the bookings. What does this indicate about the pilot, given the fact that he's not just thrashed and abused in front of the person's wife and their family, he's also further pressurized and exerted pressure, perhaps because he understands the system better?
Well, that's right. See, these things are a matter of investigation that will come out at a later stage. But one thing was very clear, that since the beginning, that very individual has basically requesting that at this point in time, right now, I'm with my wife and 2 kids. So if you see in front of their kids, what we have seen, that this off-air duty pilot basically assaulted this very individual. And right now, the investigation is currently underway, and the CCTV camera footage that has been installed at the airport terminal T1 area are being scanned in this regard. And if you see the voice basically echoing, and what we have been seeing, that on social media platform, this very video of this individual being beaten up at the Delhi airport terminal T1 is going viral right now, and people have been constantly demanding accountability regarding this, because what we have been seeing, that it is not the very first incident that has come to light. Earlier, what we have seen, that last year, even if you see at Jaipur airport, such a similar kind of incident has taken place when a scuffle broke out at the very airport. So if you see this basically needs accountability.
Right, Akhil, I'm really sorry to cut you off. We actually have Mr. Ankit Dewan joining us on the broadcast. He, in fact, is the passenger that can be seen in the video. So firstly, I'm extremely sorry for what happened with you, but I salute your courage for having, in fact, not bowed down to pressure and still managed to, of course, get your word across. Now, what are your initial thoughts on the entire incident that happened?
I think it is very appalling how things went down, and how people are very quick to get physical and assault somebody. I did not expect this at the airport, especially. Happens on the streets all the time, but at the airport it's very, very disturbing.
Right, sir, I wish to understand from you. I understand that these are some traumatic events, and especially because it happened in front of your family. What exactly happened?
What happened was that I was flying to my destination, and it was around 12 o'clock. We had a infant in arms and a stroller. So I think because of the stroller, they directed us to a particular X-ray machine. I think Delhi airport only has one machine for oversized packages. So everybody with a guitar was there, and with a stroller, people were there, and the same entry was also being used by the staff. So the staff, they were in queue, and one of them was collecting mobiles from everybody, and he was putting it in a tray. So one of them said that, why don't you put it in the front? So I objected to that, and that is when this Captain Virender Sejwal, he said something like, I don't know where these guys come from and all that, and then he addressed me and said, "Anpad ho kya? Aap wahan pe likha hua tha. Why couldn't you read that this is only for service people, for the staff?" So the way he said it, I told him that they only guided me. He said कि तुम पढ़े लिखे नहीं हो क्या? तुम तो देख सकते थे. So then the verbal spat started, and it continued. He, of course, he interjected the line, and then went through to the frisking area. He was being frisked when he decided that no, he had had enough. So he came back and he hit me. I don't remember exactly how I landed on the floor, and the blood I realized later. But that is the gist of it.
Shiv Arur here, and very sorry to hear about what you've been through, and these pictures are extremely distressing, and I hope your daughter is okay. I can imagine she must be very, very traumatized right now. But the question I want to ask you now is, I know that Air India Express and the Delhi airport have both reached out to you. What action have they promised? What action are they taking? What are they telling you?
No, your information is as good as mine, because they have just sent a tweet, and you also must have read that tweet. So right now I only know that they have suspended the pilot pending inquiry. Apart from that, I have no other information.
So just, at the airport itself, this is a busy holiday season, Ankit, and, obviously there are crowds in airports, and, separate lines, etc. may actually happen. But how did things escalate to a point where this man started hitting you in this manner? Can you just describe that sequence for us?
We had a verbal spat. So I don't know why he decided to address a passenger itself as uneducated, and that ticked me off. So both of us used some expletives, and it just we were just having a verbal spat. I never expected he would come and hit me. That is how it escalated, nothing else.
So to be clear, that there was a verbal spat, some gali galoj happened, some expletives were used,
yes,
but he
assaulted you.
He assaulted you. He assaulted you first.
Yes. Yes. He was a pretty strong guy, I think, and I couldn't lay much of a hand on him, to be honest.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because there is the information is that he was traveling as a passenger. He's not the pilot of this aircraft. That doesn't differentiate over what action the.
I came to know that later, but he had, I think, under his sweater, he was wearing his stripes on his shoulder. So I was not clear at that time that he was not in active duty.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter, because, either way he has assaulted you, and this is a reflection on the company itself. But, when he started hitting you, Ankit, were there other people around? Did any Delhi airport officials try to stop it?
I posted this in the morning today. He, in fact, told the CISF guy that I'm going to go and hit him. And this was heard by my wife. I did not hear that. And then he came and assaulted me. So CISF should have stopped him. But I'm quite surprised that they did nothing up until that time.
And no other, apart from the CISF officials, there were no airline officials, Delhi airport persons, because this was a high security line. There must have been people there who could have been able to stop this.
No, not at all. There were only 2 CISF people there. One was manning the X-ray machine, and the other was doing the frisking. And of course, there was one lady officer from CISF also.
How long did this assault go on for? He hit you and you fell down?
I lost track of time. Would have been maybe just a few minutes. Not too much.
Okay. And your injuries are non-serious? You're okay, Ankit?
Yeah, they are non-serious. I have had no stitches, but I have a lot of aches and pains in my body.
How is your family doing? How is your wife, your daughter? How are they doing right now?
Daughter, see, children are resilient. So by the evening, I think she looked to be a little okay. During the flight to this destination, she was very disturbed. She has flown multiple times, but this is the first time she was afraid of flying and whatnot. So that is what was really disturbing for me. And my wife, she was holding strong till the night, but at night time I saw once the children were asleep, she also, let out the stress and started crying. So she was holding on to a lot of it as well. So it is traumatizing for everybody.
I can well imagine. I can only say that wish you a speedy recovery from your aches and pains, and hope you're able to enjoy the rest of your vacation and holiday. And NDTV will be tracking this story closely, Ankit. We will make sure that it doesn't stop at just a tweet from these organizations, and we will find out what happens with this particular individual who has assaulted you. Obviously, there's an investigation going on, and we'll report the facts. But we wish you well, and thank you for speaking to NDTV. Please take care, and thank you for speaking to us.
Just one thing I want to get across from your channel, that they should release that CCTV video. See, that really puts things in perspective. That CCTV video should be made public.
We will make a demand for that. We will make a demand for the CCTV video. You're right. Ultimately, with only a few seconds of footage right now available, plus that very disturbing picture of you covered in blood, are the only two pieces of visual information on this story. But you're right. I think CCTV footage will be essential to piece together the sequence. And since you're asking for it, obviously the truth stands with you. So we will pursue this, Ankit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Reed, that was Ankit Dewan that you and I have been speaking to. Incredibly traumatizing story. People assaulting each other is not uncommon, especially in Delhi NCR, as we well know.
Right.
But this kind of a thing in a high security line where there are security personnel available. This man is a man who is trained not to let things escalate. He's literally a pilot. Is extremely disturbing. So we will be looking into this.
Right, absolutely, Shiv. Of course, appalling and devastating incident coming in from the airport. And, you rightly mentioned that one can rarely expect such an incident to happen at the Delhi airport, especially given that it is the holiday season where this is happening. I also wish to understand, of course, that what exactly the authorities were doing when, of course, this incident was happening. As, of course, we know that as the victim was also mentioning that there was a verbal argument, a spat that he had, after which it turned physical, and he did not even realize when exactly it turned physical. And he also mentioned how traumatizing it must be for his children, given the fact that he had two children traveling with him alongside his wife, who was also there and even saw the incident take place. Well, going back to my colleague Akhil on this, Akhil, of course, we also heard the victim who spoke about how he is, of course, demanding the CCTV footage to be released. Has there been any, of course, information that's come from the airport authorities, anything from the DGCA so far?
Well, if you see so far what we have seen, that the airport authority has just tweeted regarding this very information. And apart from that, if you see, the DGCA has not yet responded, but he has tagged on his X post regarding this very unfortunate tragedy that took place at Delhi Airport T1 terminal. So right now, if you see, he has been constantly demanding to release the CCTV footage that at that point in time when that unfortunate tragedy unfolded at the very airport. So, and in this case, what we have seen, that apart from the victim who has got a bruise on his face as well, Jay.